everybody, what is going on? AJ here. Let me test to make sure. I hope y'all liked my new intro. Hold on. Just trying to test my audio. Alright, sounding good. How y'all doing, folks? This is my Sunday afternoon type of church post-production. We started this a long time ago, about 2 years ago, and this is what we used to do, and I'm just bringing it back because I need to get back into the swing of editing our church videos because things are slowly starting to get back, so just doing a little more with that, and then taking y'all along with me to show you what I do for our media ministry. I actually have a video coming out that I need to do called a media ministry, a one-man media ministry, because that's what happened today at church. We didn't have anybody in the media booth. I was playing this Sunday, and the other person who could have been in the media booth was singing. So I had to control everything while directing and playing. So be on the lookout for that. I got my other stuff set up so I can bring people's comments in. We'll kick them off to let them go automatically right now. They should start up here in a second. I don't know what's going on. Oh, there they go. So, thank you, Ashley. We got a whole bunch of other stuff. Let me see. Let me turn off the automatic, and I'm going to bring in a couple of people's comments. So I'm going to try and answer y'all's questions, but really this is showing you what I'm doing from a video editing standpoint, and I need to bring up my studio monitor because my teleprompter when I'm going through vMix is backwards, so I can't read what y'all are saying here. Give me a second for it to come up. There we go. Chris is saying, I'm really tired this morning as I was bringing on in our pastor via vMix call. His connection True Color came out and the connection went down to 7. Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Hey, we all have stuff like that. Like I said, this isn't really meant to answer questions, but I will get as much as I possibly can. I know we had a question was asking, Jonathan wanted to know, is ProPresenter work well on the new M1 Max? I personally have not used it, but supposedly they said it's a beast. So yeah, hopefully I think it should work. ProPresenter has always worked well on the Macs. It used to be bad on Windows. Honestly, with Windows, it worked well if you threw enough horsepower at it, and they actually, since 7, they went from ground zero and refixed a lot of stuff. So I think that's good. Now I got everything set up here so I can bring y'all up, and I got my stuff over here. So let me go through doing some of the stuff that I normally don't show y'all. So if we cut over here, we are on our computer, and let me make sure y'all can still hear me. All right, cool. Y'all can still hear me. All right, so what I normally do is I use Canva to make our thumbnails. So this happened to be the one that I made today at church based off of what I assumed the sermon title was. My pastor really didn't have anything in particular, but he kept talking about based off of John 1:43 through 46. Yeah, that's it. And this is the sermon details spreadsheet that has been updated. I have a link to it down below, completely free. Helps get your stuff organized. So the idea is we're going to be going through doing our YouTube stuff, our podcast, doing the link, then also doing the link to the podcast, which I didn't paste in here from last week, and just working at filling this out. And we're going to be logging into our website to put all this stuff up as well. So all I really do is I base everything off of a color theme, and I pretty much just, we're using this kind of crimson, and then I just had a picture. At first I thought it was, I found him. I thought that's what his theme was going to be, but it wasn't. But yeah, I honestly pull off the title of his sermon or do this. So I guess you can call this sermon bumpers. We really don't do anything like that, but this is just what I'm using for a thumbnail. So I made this at church, and all it was is just a bar, a picture here that I have blurred out a little bit that I got from pexels.com. Yeah, so I just have it like a city, something strange. That's it. Doesn't really matter. I mean, if anybody had a problem with it, I'm like, hey, you can always make your own if you don't like how I did my thumbnail. So, all right, so we got that downloaded. I'm not going to do anything else in here. Now, on our website, we're using WordPress. We have a sermons module, and what we do is fill out the shell of our sermon, which I've already did at church. This is what makes things go so much faster. And I have the thumbnail placed in here, and all I'm going to do is link the YouTube link once it's done, link our podcast, and then publish it. And that's it. And then all the rest of this, I check this off. So if anybody coming behind me, they know that this work has been done. So let's cut over here to our template. We're going to just start. I'm going to try and do everything. I'm using DaVinci Resolve 17. You can do this on the free version. I am using Studio, but the free version works exactly the same way as what I'm doing. What we're going to do is do everything in this project for Sunday service. I am using split screen, but I have access to go back and forth so y'all can see what I am doing. And like I said, I can bring up y'all's comments. Which WordPress template is that? That is the Adore Church theme is what I am using for our church website. Honestly, I want to change that. I just haven't had a chance to get into it. And I guess I shouldn't have shown that. I had my activation on there, which I didn't notice. I'm going to have to cut that out later. But it doesn't matter because it's already activated. It's going to say it's not going to work for you anyway. But yeah, let's cut back over here. And we're going to cut over to our center screen. Oh, I had center screen already. All right, so what we're going to do is this is our old project. And somebody asked me this, how do you make different timelines inside of a project? And all you have to do is go to your Edit tab here. And first, you need to come up here to your upper left and go into this tabbed view. And then you just hit Control-N. And that's making your new timeline. So you can have multiple projects inside, multiple timelines inside this project. So what I'm going to do is to keep everything here, I'm just going to call it today's date, 10th, 2021. And we do a couple of things. I would do this as FS for full service. Do another one for podcast, and then do one more sermon only. All right, so all this other stuff from the past Sunday I don't need. Let's go ahead and bring in my stuff for this Sunday that I've already copied over, and is from here, from January 10th. So let's make a new bin here, 0110. Like to keep my stuff organized. And because this is an existing project, everything else is already here. So that makes it easy. So let's cut over here to our Edit tab. Double click on this to give us a preview. And I'm going to scrub through here to get to the exact beginning of service. And let me I think I'm unmuted. Let me crank up the volume just a little bit so that way you can hear what I got going on. Carl, what I am doing here is I am showing you how I do the video editing for my church after the fact at the end of service. We're making a sermon only video, we're doing the full service, and we're doing our podcast, and then uploading that stuff on our website using DaVinci Resolve. Yeah, Josh, this theme actually was one that was free. So if it's not there anymore, that gives me even more of a reason to switch to something else. But again, it's time consuming. All right, so now that we are here, I'm just going to scrub through and find where I started. All right, so again, I was running everything myself. So these cameras do not zoom in or nothing like that until I get off the piano to go upstairs. All right, so I'm going to start right here for the full service. And thankfully, that's it. You know, the whole service ends right there. And we're praying out. And then I'm just going to cut and give my markers here. So that now I'm going to take this, and let's cut back over to our center screen. We are going to use our, you know what, maybe I should just do this on one screen, and that will make it easier. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Give me 1 second. So let's switch back to me. Oh, let me turn this off. All right, I'm going to turn back to me. I'm going to put everything on my second screen so I can do a picture-in-picture. Turn off dual screen. Turn off full screen. And I'm just going to have to bring this over. It was getting too much a hassle go back and forth here. So give me 1 second. We're now here. So now I can control this from the ATEM directly. And lower right, I should be up and out of the way so y'all can see, and I can use this monitor up here to see better. Like I said, drop me some questions. Try and stay online with what we got, but I mean, if you really have a question, I will try my best to get to you. All right, so what we're going to do now is we already have our graphics, and I am looking for my intro, which I couldn't find last week. Because it's been a while since I've had to do this. So I need to find out where did I place it. Is it stock? Yes, it is. So we have our intro, outro here. We start fading right here. So what I'm going to do is fade this out by 2 seconds, which is right there. I'm going to put a marker here by clicking on the clip. Wait a minute. Why is these not linked together? All right. So from right here, I'm going to hit the M key, and that's going to make a marker right here. From Wayo, you're saying you have the free version, but it's giving you some issues. What type of issues? Is it from a performance standpoint? Crashing or not installing properly? No, I have not had that issue. Which one are you using? Are you using 17 or 16? Let me know. So I'm within 2 seconds. That's where I started fading, and I put a marker. Make sure, because if you don't have a clip selected and you hit M, it puts a marker on the timeline. And I don't necessarily want to do that because we're going to do this 2 ways. And now let's drag this front one here, and let me make sure I'm out of the way. Let me move myself up here. I'm gonna drag this intro here just for a second, for 1 second, yeah. And I'm gonna click on the clip right there and then do another marker, because this is an intro and an outro. Every video we do starts and ends with this. All right, so there we go. We got our intro, outro, and I'm gonna get rid of that fade. And what I'm gonna do is copy this, go to our podcast, paste, go to our sermon only, paste, because we're gonna be using this anyway. All right, so let's come back to our main service. Here is, let's go back to our folder and where we have our mark in and mark outs. Okay, if you have in 16 from Wayo, what specs are on your computer? Ooh, excuse me. Because I wouldn't go anything less than like a Ryzen 3 3200, or in other words, a 4-core processor. Really, if you're on the Intel side, 4 cores, 8 threads. Also, you you need some type of GPU to go with that. Need some more specs on what your system is running. If you do have some issues with that, you could try Hit Film, maybe Filmora could work as well too. All right, so now that we got this, I'm just dragging the clip here, and as you can see from last week, my pastor has ups and downs in his when he's talking, and I'm not really loud when we do from a music standpoint, so don't have to worry that much about me. So now let's zoom in some more, and we're gonna fade. Actually, it looks like I hadn't started yet. The God we serve, the greatness of the Lord. All right, so this is where I start. So I'm going to cut this section and delete it and bring it all the way here, and I'm going to fade this in by 2 seconds. Now you see how loud that was in comparison to everything else. So we got to crank the audio up on this video. So I'm just going to put it at 10 for right now. And I need to drop the audio for our intro down by maybe to -4. And I have my speakers. Man, why is it so? Oh, because I got the volume inside of here up. That's why. So it fades out. See, I'm soft. I don't talk really loud. So we can crank this up maybe a little bit more. Let's go to 15. All right, so that's the choir coming in. So really don't need to go over that much, but as you can see, we get kind of loud. So let me, and that was after me boosting it. Let's drop it down by 10. But you can see when the choir stops, you see how soft it is. Got somebody bellowing on here. All right, so there it is. My pastor is talking soft. So we're going to zoom in, cut that section, and we got to find the next part where he's talking. That's the next part we start singing. I'm going to cut that, right click on here, and we're going to do normalize audio. I don't change the settings on it. I just leave it at that to help hopefully adjust it so it cranks them up a little bit. All right, so there we go. Music is fine. I'm just skimming through here. And again, if we had people in the media booth, the whole idea is if you balance this audio now, you don't have to do all this stuff after the fact. So I'm just going through here, seeing where people are talking, cranking it up, normalizing the audio, which normally brings the audio up so it can be heard clearer. This was prayer, and crank this one up. Then we have another selection that we sang. This one I forgot to switch the camera. Yeah, that's Mr. Taurus there singing it, tearing it up. All right, so this is about where the sermon starts. This is where we're going to cut this over. And I don't know why I made a podcast timeline, because the sermon, if we edit the sermon to do the podcast, we just do audio only. So I wasn't thinking when I did that. All right, so as you can see, my pastor starts off soft. Then he starts to get loud and works up and up and up and up and all this other fun stuff. All right, so we're going to skip forward. And I'm actually going to end this early because I forgot my pastor started to sing. All right, so I'm actually ending it right here. He's going in here. All right, so I'm going to end it right here. So I'm just going to cut the rest of the video here. Boom. Now let's go back to the beginning because that's where we had our intro outro. And remember, we put a marker on there, and because of that, we can snap it right to the end. It makes it real easy to do. So we're just going to paste that, make it bigger, and as you can see, boom, see it snaps right to that marker. Makes it real easy to, now let's put our fade in. Excuse me, and we really don't need to fade out the video. We just need to fade out the audio. So now if we play it, boom, there's the ending. Really simple, all right? So now what we're gonna do is, remember we cut right at the beginning of where the sermon started, but I want to get him right when he comes up. Alright, so actually I'm going to move this to right there. And let's do a balance, a normalize on the audio here. Maybe it'll crank it up a little bit. Now this is a longer section, so it is going to take a little bit longer to do. And let me know if y'all have any other questions. I'm actually going to be redoing all our graphics. That's what the intention was for me to do today. I took my Sony ZV-1 with me to start shooting some B-roll and to start getting some shots. I had my drone out, charged it to start doing some other shots, to start making new intros and graphics for our church. But my duties kind of changed, so I didn't get a chance to do that. But we will be making that. And it didn't really jump that audio that much. So I'm going to crank it up to 6. And hopefully, yeah, that's fine. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to splice in here our lower thirds for our pastor, well, for my pastor. And we have one already made. And actually, this is the benefit of using the same project but different timelines. I'm going to go to last week's, and everything was already made. So all I'm going to do is just copy that, come over here, and paste. And he is really, really soft. So I'm going to have to crank that up a little bit more. This is, if anybody's doing any type of editing or anything like that at your church, I highly, highly recommend that you always encourage your leadership to come behind and listen to themselves on their stream. That will make it so much easier for y'all. Because if anybody saw what I'm doing right now and they had to listen to how it was originally, I would hope they would recognize, like, man, I need to talk louder. All right, so you see, I bumped that up, and that's more realistic. Bump this one up as well, too. Now, this one might be a little too loud. That's at 19. Let's drop it down to 15. And then I'm just going to think for the most part, I think this is fine. Let's put this at 15. All right, so I think we're good here. So now, that lower third that we did before, let's highlight his entire sermon, which is all here. I'm going to change this to orange because it's easy for me to tell. And I'm looking here at the comments. I don't see anybody have any other questions. Oh, wait a minute. Chris, I am transitioning through this because this is actually being done through our ATEM. This was done live. So when I'm changing camera angles, that was done through our ATEM at the church. And it's just baked into the recording already. This is just a master mix that was going to our live stream minus the graphics that were on our live stream. So that's what this is all done. Thankfully, I don't have to do all that. I used to have to do that when we recorded on each camera. Then I had to sync them all together, and then, yeah. So this is the benefit of doing all of this live. Now, if like I was talking about when I talked about how I changed my workflow with the ATEM Mini ISO, ATEM Mini Pro ISO, if they did that with the bigger version of the Switch, it could record all of these tracks and I could have more freedom to do some stuff like that. But, you know, it is what it is for right now. So looking over the length of his entire sermon, I'm just sprinkling the lower thirds over there. All right. So now I'm just going to copy everything that's in the range of the orange. And I'm going to get rid of that timeline because I don't need it. I'm going to just go here, go to that little marker we got, paste, and guess what? There's our sermon by itself and the podcast and the entire service by itself right there. So now, since I'm on a different system, I can actually render this and it's not going to tank my system when I'm trying to do it. So what we're going to do is let's go ahead and do podcast only. So that's 01/10/2021 podcast. And I like to get, we'll do audio only. All right. And then that's MP4. That's fine. Boom. Now we also, and this is where you can change your timeline, which one you want to render here. Oh, yeah, I'm not in the way. All right. Now what we're going to do is, hopefully they fix this. Yeah, they still didn't fix it. Normally, if you pick audio and then you change audio only and then you pick something else for video, it didn't check off the video, but maybe they did fix it. I don't know. But anyway, I just like to click away from it and just make sure. Then on YouTube, we're going to do the same thing. 01/10/2021 sermon. Boom, we got that. And then we will do the full service, which honestly I don't think we need because the full service still exists on Facebook. So I'm not going to do the full sermon. So I'm just going to do these two. The audio should go a lot faster. So let's go ahead and render that. Now, if I wasn't streaming, I have my system set up to where I can let my other computer render this so I could still work. So technically I could have rendered both of these at the same time, and my computer handle this one and then my other computer handle the other one, who cuts my time in half. Collins, this is DaVinci Resolve that I am using to do all of my edits on. And it is completely free. It is currently on 17. That is what I am using right now. You can get it here. Has a lot of awesome features built into it. Color grading, audio, everything. 3D effects, awesome stuff that you can use. And it's good to know that you have so much flexibility to go with this, and it's free. So even if I started doing very simple stuff with this, and then I started adding it, and now 17 has better lower thirds, all this other stuff built in. So if you've looked at any of my recent videos, I've been actually transitioning to do everything in DaVinci Resolve as much as possible, except for intros and stuff like that, which you can make. I'm just not skilled enough to make it in Fusion yet, but we're getting there. So let's see where we're at. Thankfully, this is a fast system, like I was telling y'all. So this is almost finished rendering the audio by itself. 3, 2, 1. Boom. All right. Our podcast is done. Took 1 minute and 48 seconds to render that. So while that is done, what we're going to do is come over here. We're going to go to our podcast. We're still using Wooshka. All right. So we're going to come over here. This goes to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, all this other stuff like that. All right. I am already logged in, so we're just going to make a new episode. We're going to pull over let's upload what we just did. Render. And that was podcast. All right. And then we're going to pull over all the details that we had here on our spreadsheet. Like I said, there is a link to that spreadsheet down below. And we're going to say, who preached? Reverend Dr. James L. Sales. And this was 1/10/2021. Scripture was John 1:43-46, I believe. Yep. And it auto increments for us. Don't really need to put tags on there. I mean, you can. Antioch, Carolina, Antioch Baptist Church, James Sales, James L. Sales, Antioch, Carolina, Antioch Baptist Church, Carolina. You know, stuff like that. It is clean. So, and it finished uploading. So, let's hit create. And wait for it. All right. Awesome. It's processing. What we're going to do now is copy the audio URL. We're going to come back to our website and we're going to go to our sermons. And this is the one we're working on. All right, so we're going to paste the audio. Did I paste it there? Or do I? Oh, I do. Mine is my SoundCloud, even though we don't use the SoundCloud. And I'll let you see what that looks like. Now let's come over here and paste this because I didn't do it last time. And let me do last week's as well too. All right. So this is done. Save this as a draft. Podcast is done. And literally the only thing we got to do after this is we're going to, and actually, let me do this for everything. Oh, that's right. I don't need to do that. We need to add a tag here. Nope, we got to spell his last name right. Sales. Reverend Dr. James L. Sales. Add that as a tag. But we also tagged him in the sermon. That's fine. All right, we got a question here from Collins. Wanted to know which is better, Daycast, Vimeo, or OneStream. I'm having issues on my church live streaming, which are currently fixing now. Which would you prefer? Honestly, out of all those three, I've only used Vimeo. That's who we use, and that has restreaming functionality built into it. It gives us a whole lot more functions. Actually, it's mine. I contract out a piece of it to my church. So instead of them paying $1,000 for that, I'm already paying for it for my company. They pay me a portion to lease out the live streaming portion for them every Sunday, or if we have funerals or something like that. But I do like that. Like I said, I have not used the other ones, so I can't really speak on that. But let me know, what else do y'all use? Do y'all just go to YouTube, Facebook directly, Restream, Split Stream, Mob Crush? Let me know if y'all are watching. What do y'all currently use for your live stream? Let me see. What else we got? Oh yeah, we got to start prepping for our YouTube stuff. And hey, look, I'm live. All right, so let's come over here and we're gonna do a upload. And I'm just waiting for this to be done. And we will prep all of this when we're done. Let's see how long we got 5 minutes until it's done. So while that's working, let me know, do y'all have any questions so far? Because I'm here. Wait a minute, we actually got one. Chris would like to know, let me move this over so I can see this better now. What is your workflow if anyone needs to upload a video to be part of a pre-recorded live stream? We are in total lockdown until the end of the month. Well, Chris, when we were doing our announcements, I had a cutoff time of Wednesday, end of the day. I think that's what I had it. And now, thankfully, well, luckily for you, you had people submitting stuff to you. I didn't have anybody submit anything to me. We had to make everything that we did. They just gave us a document who was going to do it, or if somebody was going to be on camera, we had to meet them at a certain time, and we recorded them, did their audio, their video, something like that. So we didn't have anybody make anything because we didn't really have a lot of people. We want to make sure our branding was the same, but our cutoff was, I think, close of business Wednesday, and then it gave us enough time to record, put everything together. All right, and Jinx, their flow is they go through Restream, and then Restream is sending to Facebook and YouTube. Awesome. FMBC is saying, I can't get Restream IO to work correct in YouTube and Facebook. I only can see Facebook and YouTube until the end of the stream. I would say make sure, especially in YouTube, that it's set to be public. Make sure the stream key that you're using is set to public, or make sure it's not private or unlisted or something like that. That's the only thing I can think for that. Another question we got here. We use OBS and stream directly to YouTube, okay? We would like to stream to YouTube and our Facebook channel at the same time. Is there a way to do this for free? Yes, Restream can do it for free, but it depends on the type of channel you're using on Facebook. If you go to your own, if you have a personal page, you can use YouTube and Facebook for free. But if you have a public page, like my personal page on Facebook, I can use. Like I have a gaming channel, that I haven't used in quite a long time, but I use YouTube is for Sir Triggerlot, and then I also have Sir Triggerlot, a personal page. I can use Restream and go to that fine. But AJ the CEO on Facebook is like a professional page, or like a church page or a group page. You have to pay for Restream to do that. Now, one suggestion, I don't know if they've changed this, you could send it to your own personal page using Restream, send it to YouTube, and then send it to your personal page, and then have your church page do a watch party of yours on their page if you really wanted to do it for free. But if not, you could use the multiple RTMP plugin for OBS to where it's bypassing Restream completely, and it's sending it to both of those from OBS itself. But you need to make sure you have the upload speed to support that, as well as your computer can handle 2 streams at the same time. To get to DaVinci Resolve, you go to blackmagicdesign.com, and it's the very first thing on the page. So if I cut over here, if you cut over there, you just click right there, or you can go to support, go to DaVinci Resolve, and then here are the links. Make sure you do not get the Studio. The Studio is the paid one. You actually need to have an access code to get that one, which is similar to what I have that came with my camera, but that was only in the last 4 or 5 months. I've been using the free one since DaVinci Resolve 12. So 12, 13, something like that. I can't remember the number, but I've been on it for a while. Let's see. Any good, where's my video? Oh, any good intro to all of this courses to recommend? Honestly, Chris Ferris is another guy that I follow on YouTube. He does a lot of tutorials. I have a couple of tutorials, but mine are mainly focused on, I haven't had a chance to get back to them, of trying to do some DaVinci Resolve stuff, but I get so busy with all the other stuff that I'm doing. I haven't had a chance to fully flesh out those courses, but I would say check out Chris Ferris, and let me see who I have, because I normally have a bunch of folks that I do, and actually this is not my page. This is still my church's page. Let me go to my stuff, and let me see who I have. Excuse me. I had the name wrong. I was mixing two people's names up. One of the people I look to is Casey Ferris, not Chris Ferris. It was another person named Chris that I had their name mixed up with. And let me see. So he's one who does a lot of stuff. A lot. Who else we got? Man, why am I forgetting his name? I got a lot of people on my... I need to go through here and start cleaning up people that I don't... channels that I don't go through that much. A lot of this has been research and stuff like that. I can't remember off the top of my head who it is, but that's one that I know I pop in now and then and see some other stuff that he has. All right, so we are almost finished here. But let me see some other questions, because it's almost done rendering. Let's see, the other question we got. Oh, I have found that YouTube and Facebook require me to manually hit go live for the stream to show up. Yeah, there's a setting that you can change that. Mine does this for this as well too. I intentionally have it to do that. But there's an option that you can go in and say, once it detects a stream, it automatically goes live. All right. So now this is done. And where's my folder? Okay. They put it on the other monitor. So here is our sermon is done. Let's go over here and let's start uploading this. And this is where we're going to put all those pieces together. So let's take first our URL and paste it over here. Paste it also in our website. And it's going to take a little bit for this to show up. So I'm going to schedule this to go in about an hour. So that'll be 16:30 to make this go live on our website. And now the website is done. I'm going to let that refresh here in a second. Now remember, I'm still working on this as well, but we want to make it to where more people find our stuff. And let me take this question down. Let me get to y'all's other comments here in a second. We're going to add our title in here, but remember, no one is really looking for, can anything good come out of Nazareth? Somebody may. But we want to start adding tags on here so that people can find this. And then, you know, I'm sitting here thinking, how can we turn that into a question of what people are looking for? But let's add the rest of our stuff here. This is going to be a sermon. This is for our pastor. And leave that off for kids. Let's do our thumbnail that we downloaded. We're going to add our info here as Reverend Dr. James L. Sells. And honestly, I have our playlist set up that once it detects Pastor Sells' name inside of the description, it will auto add to his playlist. So I really didn't need to check that off. Date 1/10/2021. Scripture. John 1:43 through 46. All right. Let's do next. I'll do I really need to replace our outro with ending cards. That's what I really need to do, and just let it go fade to black. I'll probably do that later. All right, so we will schedule this to also go live today at 4:30. It should be done by then, I would hope. Give it an hour. I will premiere it because that will notify everybody who's following our channel to do it just like I do with here. So I'll schedule that. And that's all done. So if we come over here and look at it, and I'm going to get to y'all's over comments. All right, so here's our stuff. That's how it fills out. You know, it's kind of bland. I wish I could have some notes and all this other stuff, but don't really get a transcript or anything or notes for downloadables from a pastor or anybody who's preaching on here. This will fill out once it's done. I only see it. No one else can see this anyway right now. So if I go to our main website, come on now. Drone footage. My first drone footage was on here. But you see we have our sermons here. Our events, our Zoom Bible study, and then our notes, and then our sermons and stuff like that. That was the last one. This one will get replaced at 4:30 when this one gets done. Now, while this is uploading, remember, we want to get more people here. And let me hold on before I get too excited over here. Let me get to everybody else's questions. How to work with you directly to ensure I have all the software I need? Well, you will want to go to questions@AJayhomes.com. You can email me, but if you need time, as in like Zoom or a call, go to AJayhomes.com/consultations, which I will add in the notes down below. If you do that, you can book something with me. I only do stuff between Tuesdays and Thursdays because normally Tuesday through Thursdays, and then on Saturdays if I don't have projects going on. Mondays are my recoup day from Sunday, and then Friday is my live stream, so that's why I don't have anything. But you can book something here. If you're a Patreon supporter, the e-missionary level, they actually get a free consultation with me every month. And don't think you can just click this, because if you do, the price is $3,000. If somebody accidentally does that and pays, hey, thank you. There is no refund on this. So pay $3,000 if you dare. I'm just joking with y'all, but nah, that's for the Patreons to do. But for anybody else, you can do a video or a phone consultation and book something with me that way. That's the easiest way to get in touch with me. Emails is around like 48 hours to 72 hours before I can turn around and get back to you, but I try my best to get back in touch with y'all. Message from the Bible Report. Hello, thank you for your channel, very helpful. Is there a way that you can help me with stingers with OBS, and how much would it cost? Like I said, send me an email at questions@AJayhomes.com and we can see what we can do about that. Yes, Ashley, I do as well. Brother Art, I used a tablet with Zoom. I did a screen share of the camera view. That's how I used my NVIDIA Shield when I was starting out. In OBS window capture of Zoom, it looks pixelated when expanding the view. Is that normal? And how can I compensate? Now, how is that? Use a tablet with Zoom. But how is it in OBS window capture of Zoom? What I need to know, what was the resolution of the main source of where you were capturing Zoom? That's the only thing I can think of. I need to play around with that myself to get a better understanding of that. Stephen Law, purchased the A10 Mini. Have one camera which is sending my audio via SDI and convert to HDMI to input 1, and you're losing sound. With the ATEM, and I don't have my overhead camera hooked up, it's still in the bag. Do you have the input on for the audio input on for that source? Now, my camera is going to drop here in a second. Once I bring up the ATEM software, I need to adjust my camera real quick. which I now know how to do in software instead of me having to do it through the app. So if I cut over to here, make sure in your audio that you have your, if you're bringing in audio through input 1, make sure you have that audio on. So you probably would have just got an echo just now when I just did that, which that's why I stopped it. But you need to make sure that's on, or hit, there's an on right above your input 1 on the ATEM. Make sure you have that on for that. And as nice as I can say this, so am I. Honestly, for me, what I'm trying to do is, I know I had some kids I was trying to teach, but then they've gone off and graduated, and they living their life. I try and work the people I have, but my goal, and I'm doing this through a bunch of leadership stuff that we're going about through Facebook, and I need to actually post it, and I've been doing some videos, that it's not just about the tech. All of us, we can learn all the skills all day long, but unless we learn how to lead people and deal with people, we're going to be the only person there. So I say with that, if you don't have anybody that's technical, you're either going to have to take on the ownership of being the technical person, but then, like what I do at my church, most of the people in my media ministry do not know how to do what I do. I don't expect them to, but I make it as simple as possible so that they can still run the media ministry. My idea is they contact me if things break. Like I have a Stream Deck like I'm using right now. All this stuff for them is just a bunch of button presses, and I want to make it as simple as possible. Like even when I go into choir rehearsal, I don't want to call it a lie because it's not. You have to set the tone, because if you don't, people will come in and think something is a lot more difficult than it really is. Even if it is difficult, I always set the tone of, oh, this is going to be simple. This might be the hardest song that I've ever taught, but I set the tone that they have confidence in me. So, oh, if AJ's saying it's easy, it's easy. Their guard is down, and then halfway through the song, they're like, wait a minute, this thing is difficult, but we're already halfway through. And now all the walls that you normally would have had to fight are not there. But I would say if you don't have anybody that's not technical, it's not a requirement. You're looking for willingness. And then do your best. I try and do the tutorials here, especially today. I had to play and I had to run a media ministry from over my phone because we didn't have anybody in the booth. So we're going to be talking about a media ministry of one, when you have to do everything by yourself, but then also learn to develop the skills so we can draw more people to work, because we're looking for willingness, not absolutely technical wizards. If you get one, thank God, so you can divvy that up. But hey, we're all there. Grace Place Church. How can I change my keyframes on TriCaster to Elite? I'm getting that message from my restream. That I do not know. I have not used a TriCaster personally, so I do not know exactly how to make that change, unfortunately. Let's see where we're at on our upload. And we should be... Oh man, this is gonna take a minute. I don't know. Oh, it's going slow because I'm live streaming. Duh. It's saying right now it got 40 minutes left, and that's not gonna help with my going public in an hour. So I'm gonna end this. So hopefully it will speed up my live stream a little bit more. Thank y'all so much. This is what I do on Sundays. Let me know. Most of it is me just letting y'all get behind my shoulder and see what I'm doing for my church. And we're going to start doing some more stuff. But I catered this for y'all, so let me know if y'all, what other things I can do on this. Because, again, my Q&A is on Friday where y'all can ask questions. This is mainly production, what we do after the fact. Video, audio, stuff like that. For those who are very brand new to video editing, how simple it was. Like, I didn't do anything except for, let me adjust this section of where the audio is, put an intro at the beginning, put an outro at the beginning, adjust the audio, hit render. That's really all I did. So don't be afraid to try and do video editing. I started the same way. Started maybe 16 years ago just trying to figure this out. That's when there were no videos to try and find this stuff. So I'm trying to do as much as I can to help y'all out. Funwayo here. Does YouTube stream key change while streaming? Our stream dropped, but back after getting a new stream. You can change that. YouTube has changed it to where you can make different keys for different events. Like my Q&A with AJ has one stream that stays active repeatedly because I set it up that way. This one actually is something different because I had this key way long time ago. So I'm probably going to make a new key, and you can make it to where it's perpetual, recurring, something like that. Back to Brother Art. Using the Genie web camera 1080p through app, not on computer. Okay. Screen share through Zoom to get to OBS, then window capture. Man, that's a lot of jumps. Must be pixelated just because of the jumps, I would assume. I haven't tried that many jumps, so I'm unfortunate. I'm not 100% sure on that. Hey, like I said, the good thing I always say on our Facebook group, make sure if you're not a part of that, be a part of the Facebook group. Look up Modern Media Ministry Made Easy, and it's a group of media ministry people from all over the world where we're trying to just build each other up and help each other out. I do live streams on Fridays and Sundays, but on the Facebook group, you can do calls and questions all day long, and then on every other Sunday, we do a roundtable. So not this Sunday, but next Sunday, we would have a roundtable where it's just a more intimate setting. We have a Zoom, and we just talk. So you know that whoever you're talking to, they're in the same thing. And I always say, contrary to what people would think, we're all the same. The biggest trick we've ever been fooled is to think that we're different and we fight with each other instead of complimenting each other. Because if I help you, you're helping me, and we're all moving forward. That's what this is about. Hello, everybody who just joined. I mean, we're getting ready to end it, but thank y'all for joining. Yes, please don't. I rarely ever say this, but please make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share these videos. My channel is 100% all about media ministry, modernizing media ministry from a technical standpoint, from a personal standpoint, and how to spread the message like never before, leveraging technology. That's what our stuff is about. You don't have to worry about me trying to sell you on something that's not. Even when companies contact me, I tell them the first time when they want me to do stuff, I said, can you give me an applicable way of using this for houses of worship or ministries? If they can't answer that question, I say I'm not interested. So that is my focus. My focus is to help train y'all as best as possible. I don't know everything, but I try and share with you what I do know, and hopefully that will make your journey a little bit easier. Last question is Katie Zine Media. We have two cameras, a Vixia G50, good camera, and a DSLR. What do I need to connect the two cameras? We only have one video card. Well, the video card does not connect it. You need a capture device like the A10 Mini is a good one. The bare minimum is $295. You can connect up to 3 cameras into that. That's what I'm using right now. The switches between my stuff, as you can see, like that. And then I have some other ones that are not on right now. But that would allow you to have 4 devices connect to it, and then it connects to your computer over USB. That's what I would recommend. And if you click the link down below, mine is the Pro ISO, the highest version of it, but that link will take you to the other ones, the A10 Mini. Last month, the last 4 months of last year, I gave away an A10 Mini to a bunch of people. So we might do that again this year. Don't know. Haven't decided yet, but we do have some awesome stuff coming up when we hit 40,000 subscribers, as well as 50,000 is going to be serious. And every time we hit a goal, I do some way of doing a give back to y'all, because I didn't get here by myself. I did it because of great folks like y'all, and that's why I love doing stuff like this, to try and help y'all as much as I possibly can. But yeah, folks, I think that's it. Y'all have yourselves a good afternoon, evening, or whatever. And I'm about ready to make dinner for the little one, and maybe we'll watch Frozen again. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. We will see y'all later.